Dear students, welcome to NMR spectroscopy lecture session. So this is one of the widely used analytical technique for qualitative analysis of organic compound and characterization of compounds. By virtue of NMR spectra, one can easily interpret and predict the structure of a compound. This technique is used in different disciplines of science like organic synthesis, protein analysis, characterization of natural products, and many more. In this lecture session, I will be explaining you about the basic principle of NMR spectroscopy. Now let us start with the introduction of nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy. Name itself implies the detail about the technique. So whatever the nuclear is there, it indicates the nucleus of the atoms. Magnetic means in this spectroscopic technique we are using a strong magnet, and resonance means to create a resonance there should be some kind of electromagnetic radiation, that is a radio frequency is used. So most of the organic compounds, they are made up of different atoms, and the backbone of any organic compound is one proton and 12 carbon. So by knowing the condition of protons within a compound where the hydrogens are located, like its hybridization state, its attachment with different other electronegative atoms, through the signal one can find out or predict the position of a proton. So the most widely used one-dimensional NMR technique is also known as a proton magnetic resonance spectroscopy (PMR) or one proton NMR, because one proton is a natural abundance isotope of hydrogen. Beside that, carbon are widely present, but it is present in the form of 12 carbon. However, 12 carbon is not NMR active, so to find out the number of carbon in any molecule, we carry out the analysis of 13 carbon NMR. Beside that, to carry out the characterization of proteinous compound and complex structure, the NMR is further developed in the form of two-dimensional NMR and the three-dimensional NMR. So in the syllabus, generally they have mentioned the nuclear magnetic resonance. Beside the nucleus, even the electron can produce a spin when it is placed in the magnet and we pass a radio frequency. If we are considering the spin state of the electron, then that technique is known as a electron spin resonance spectroscopy. So what is NMR spectroscopy? NMR spectroscopy is a branch of spectroscopy that deals about the interaction of electromagnetic radiation or radio frequency with protons. And beside the electromagnetic radiation, NMR requires a strong magnetic field to operate, and the basic principle is based on the nuclear spin of a nuclei or proton. Now let us dissect the word nuclear magnetic resonance. So whatever the nuclear is there, it stands for the nucleus of the atoms. If we are considering the hydrogen, so inside the nucleus, the hydrogen, there is one proton, and in the circulating orbit there is one electron. So this is a 1h hydrogen. If we consider the isotopes of hydrogen, that is a deuterium, that is also known as a 2h. In deuterium, beside the proton there is also presence of neutron. One proton plus one neutron, 1 plus 1 2, atomic weight is 2, So 2 hydrogen. So this is a deuterium. So inside the nucleus we are finding out the resonance of protons in case of hydrogen or deuterium. So that is it stands for the nuclear, and magnetic stands for the strong magnet. So in NMR we are using a magnet, so strong magnet is used in the NMR. And third term, resonance, stands for the use of the radio frequency that cause a resonance in the proton present inside the nuclei, and it will, due to the resonance, it will absorb the energy and move to the higher energy level, and when it return back, that absorbed energy due to the resonance is recorded in term of the spectra. So this is the word nuclear, magnetic and resonance. One of the interesting aspects of NMR spectroscopy is that only selected nuclei will absorb in NMR. Not all atoms present in the periodic table will absorb in the NMR. This selected nuclei absorption in terms depend on spin quantum number, which is abbreviated as SQN, and it is denoted by alphabetical symbol I. Only nuclei with non-zero spin quantum number value will absorb in NMR and give the NMR spectra. This spin quantum number value in terms depends on atomic weight and atomic number of the atoms. So in this table you can see here there is an atomic weight, mass number, atomic number, spin quantum number value I, and example. For example, if atomic weight is odd and atomic number order even, so spin quantum number value I is in integer value 1 by 2, 3 by 2, 5 by 2. And the example is 1 proton, 13 carbon, 19 fluorine, 15 nitrogen, 31 phosphorus and 29 sulfur. If we consider the natural abundance of hydrogen, which we called as a 1 proton, it has an atomic weight or mass number 1, that is a odd, and atomic number 1, that is a odd. Odd, it has a spin quantum number value of 1 by 2. If we consider a 13 carbon, the atomic weight is 13, that is odd, and atomic number of carbon is 6, that is a even. So odd even relationship, it has also a spin quantum number value of 1 by 2. So these all elements will have, which has an integer value of spin quantum number, will absorb in NMR. And if atomic weight is even and even atomic number is even, if both are even, they will not absorb in the NMR because it has a spin quantum number value of 0. For example, 12 carbon, it has a atomic weight 12 even, atomic number 6 even, both even, so 0 spin quantum number value. Same is applicable for the 16 oxygen, because 16 is odd even and 8 is also even, both even, it will not absorb in the NMR. If even odd relationship is there, for example deuterium or 2 hydrogen, atomic weight is 2, that is a even, and hydrogen has an atomic number of 1, that is a odd, even or odd, in that case the spin quantum number value is a numerical value, that is a 1 for the deuterium, that is a even odd relationship. When I is a half integer multiples, that is 1 by 2, 3 by 2, 5 by 2, in that case the isotopes had odd mass number and atomic number even or odd, that is 1 proton, 13 carbon, 31 phosphorus. And if I equal to 0, that is when atomic mass or atomic number both are even, in that case nuclei of such isotopes has spherically and symmetrically distribution of charge. They do not possess any angular momentum, and that is the reason they do not absorb in radio frequency range. It means that when atomic mass, atomic number are even, in that case, due to the spherical distribution of the charge, it cannot have any kind of spin or the angular momentum. That is the reason those isotopes will not absorb in the NMR. Then I equal to 1 to 3, for example mass number even and atomic number odd, for example 2 deuterium. In some cases they may ask you why 12 carbon or 16 oxygen will not absorb. Then in that case you have to answer that it has a spherical and symmetrical distribution of charge and no angular momentum, no spin, no absorption in the radio frequency range. NMR spectroscopy, it measures the energy absorbed when certain nuclei undergo nuclear spin transition from parallel, that is a aligned orientation, to anti-parallel or opposed orientation in presence of strong magnetic field. Because the radio frequency photon, it has a less energy, as it does not have any electronic and vibrational transition. That is the reason we have to use a strong magnet in NMR, because whatever the one proton that is inside the nucleus, one proton is present. So let us assume this is one proton. So any protons, it behave like a tiny spinning bar magnet. So it has capacity to generate a magnetic field, and when it is placed on a strong magnet, it will have a orientation. In the ground state, this is the south pole of magnet and this is the north pole of magnet. This north pole will align to the south and this is south. So when this north and south, this is aligned and has a parallel orientation, so this is a parallel orientation. So this all proton, when in presence of strong magnetic field, it has a parallel orientation. When it is in the parallel orientation, this proton has some kind of circular motion or angular momentum, which we call as a precisional frequency or precisional speed. So it has a precisional frequency or precisional speed. So when we pass the radio frequency, this proton will absorb the radio frequency. When precisional frequency and radio frequency is equal or in resonance, it will absorb the energy and it will jump into the opposed position. So parallel aligned position to the opposed anti-parallel orientation it is observing. Anti-parallel means with respect to the external magnetic field, this is a anti-parallel orientation. And when it returns back to the ground state, then this energy absorbed E equal to h nu is measured, and it will specifically explain you the behavior of protons. So here you can see that south and north, when it absorbs the radio frequency, it is opposed, that is a north and south. This north pole with north, so it requires a high energy. You cannot join north pole of magnet with a north pole, so it has a high energy state, so it cannot stay away in this position for a longer time. Once the radio frequency is cut off, it will return back to its ground state and it will have this position. So this difference is measured in the NMR, and every proton have a different precisional frequency depending on its nature, its surroundings, its neighboring protons or neighboring atoms with an electronegative group. So this is what the basic principle is there concerned. We require the magnet because our proton has orientation in presence of the magnet, because this proton behave like a bar magnet and this as an external magnet, or you can say that this is a compass and this is a earth gravitational field. So compass show direction to the earth gravitational field, likewise this proton shows direction to the external magnet.